Hey YouTube, Alan back with another E3 reaction video, and this time I'm going to be talking about Nintendo's digital event. It was fairly rubbish. See you next time. No, wow, that was disappointing. Was expecting a lot more, to be honest. Don't get me wrong, I feel that the format was fine. I really enjoyed the way that they interjected a little humour again this year, and I do like the kind of little bit of developer looks and the kind of edited, get to your content quicker. I preferred it over to the stage presentations. Now, the only problem with this presentation, or this event, was that there was very little shown off. So, may as well go through it. I didn't actually make notes because I didn't really feel there was much worth making notes over. We started out with a really good introduction. My favourite bit of the show. We had Puppet, Iwata, Reggie and Miyamoto, kind of Muppet style actually, but you could tell as soon as I seen them as puppets, I said, this is so the reveal of Star Fox. Just tying back to the original, Star Fox posters, and the fact that the characters even, were the concept behind them was, as they mentioned in the show later on, Thunderbirds and that kind of puppet drama. So they did a really nice transformation into the Star Fox team. Minus Slippy, I noticed, but who cares about him? And then they revealed the game. And the game looks good. By that stage in the presentation, I was like, yeah, we're going good guns. Talking about, a bit of influence from the older games, Star Fox 2 features coming back, and it wasn't mind-blowing by any means, but it was solid. And it was kind of the type of thing I said, yeah, now we'll expand upon that in the Treehouse, see a bit more gameplay and see it in action. It didn't look like they were doing crazy uses of the gamepad. It actually looked sensible. It didn't look like they were making crazy use of the motion control either. Again, it was kind of optional sensibility. So I was pleased with that. I was thinking, that's good. Plus, we later learned that Platinum Games are co-developing it, so turned out those Bayonetta 2 kind of Star Foxy levels were actually almost a teaser. And they're good, they're good at action games. So I was like, yeah, this is good. We didn't hear anything about Project Giant Robot or Project Guard, but I believe Platinum have said something about they're also helping on Project Guard, but we see nothing on it. From there, though, it was largely downhill, which was very disappointing, especially for the Wii U. And I really like the Wii U, so while I'm going to have criticisms here, please bear in mind that, this isn't an anti-Nintendo thing. This is perhaps because out of all the presentations, I was more looking forward to it than the other, so maybe I'm going to be harsher in that way. But it didn't deliver. So the second big thing that they went to was an Amiibo Lander, or whatever the hell. Basically, they have a couple of Amiibos that are also going to be Skylanders figure, a Bowser figure and a Donkey Kong figure and vehicle for the new Skylanders Supercharged game. Which, don't get me wrong as well, that is a nice business coup, and it's a good add-on and it's a good crossover, because of course Skylanders is big and you want to create a synergy between Amiibo and Skylanders. But I felt that they spent way too long on what is essentially a small add-on to the game. If that game had been exclusive to the Wii U, then I'd be, yeah, you push the hell out of that because it's a big franchise now. But it's not, so I felt they dragged it on too long. It probably tells you that's about the height of third-party support on the Wii U. So, where did we go from there? I think we went on to the Zelda block then, and that was they did a segue using Mario Maker, and I'll be honest, I was hoping they didn't spend too much time on Mario Maker, and when they kind of mentioned it briefly earlier but didn't go into it as a second game, I thought, oh, okay, they've dealt with it in the World Championship, they talked about it in previous Directs and whatnot, we're not going to have a big deal about Mario Maker. Good, it's had its limelight. Let's talk about other stuff. Well, we had this little Mario Maker type thing where Mario turned into Link, and for a second I went, oh holy hell, we're going to have the Legend of Zelda Maker. That would be absolutely awesome. But no, it was nowhere near as exciting as that. We went into the Zelda block. Of course, there's nothing Zelda for the Wii U. Somehow, a game you could show off last year just couldn't be shown this year at the E3. Weird. And the excuse for that was, oh, well, we wanted to just focus on games that are kind of coming out sooner. Well, that didn't stop you going on about games like Bayonetta and Xenoblade Chronicles and whatnot for years before they came out, so that just doesn't fly with me. Why show it off last year if it wasn't ready? So yeah, they went into, there's 2 new Zelda games coming out on the 3DS. Well, I say new. The first is, was it Triforce Quest? The Legend of Zelda Triforce Quest. It's a multiplayer focused game using the A Link Between Worlds engine. Looks okay. It reminds me of kind of 4 Sword Adventures, albeit with 3 players, and they wanted to use stacking the players to kind of get the depth thing of 3D play. They did make a comment about how, oh, well, in the past games there was a competitive focus and they wanted to be more just competitive or cooperative. I'm like, well, the competitive, it was both co-op and competitive. I think that's what kind of gave 4 Swords a bit of the spice. You know, you had to help your friend, but at the same stage, you kind of wanted to get the rupees or force gems or whatever they were before them too. But it'll be good, but by no means earth-shattering. A nice kind of B-tier title. They also then announced Hyrule Warriors Legends for the 3DS, which is a port of the Wii U game. It's going to have all the DLC, and it's going to have a little bit more, so it's a really, really good deal. Kind of makes you feel a bit ripped off then for buying the DLC in some ways, but yeah, it's a picture that leaked before the show by Koei themselves, Tecmo Koei, because they accidentally put it up on their YouTube channel. So that would have been a bigger announcement. Funny enough, they didn't mention the fact that some of the content is transferable back into the Wii U game. It's for those who haven't played Hyrule Warriors, I actually really enjoyed that game. I didn't think I would, but honestly, I spent over 200 hours on it. And part of me is kind of going, do I really want to put that much in again to the same game? I probably will play it again. In fact, I'm sure I will, but I might not go quite so crazy this time. I didn't even complete the game, by the way. After 200 hours, I completed the story mode, the first 2 map modes, but I hadn't completed the last 2 maps in the adventure maps for the DLC. And I certainly, if they bring a new Wind Waker map, that'll be another one to do. Genie Mac. Oh, so Zelda block. I can't quite remember some of the next order, so I may end up skipping over things or doing things out of order. They did a Fire Emblem block, and it contained another look at Fire Emblem If, or Fates, as it's going to be over here. Yeah, that was just another trailer for that game. It's coming out fairly shortly, I think, in Japan, but it's not coming out till next year in America and Europe, so it's quite a delay, presumably a lot to localize. And then they had a trailer for Shin Megami Tensei Cross Fire Emblem. What I was disappointed about that trailer was that there was a lot of Japanese dialogue and announcement and whatnot, and they didn't have any subtitles or anything, so it was like, what's going on? It just felt like nonsense to me. And again, it was a game we've seen before. We've seen it in the last main direct, so it was. I feel they should have saved that maybe for this direct, and now it was not really that big a deal as it wasn't the last time around. So then it went to a Metroid, I suppose, section. They announced. It turned out that Blast Ball in the Nintendo World Championship is actually Metroid Prime Blast Ball. That aesthetic was hinting to Metroid content, I suppose, and that was going to be part of a package with Metroid Prime something. Oh, I've forgotten it. It's some sort of 4-player kind of shooter set in the Metroid universe, but not really a Metroid game. A bit weird. It kind of reminded me of Metroid Prime Hunters, the multiplayer aspect of that. But it doesn't even look like you play as Samus in it. It didn't go down well anyway. They just had a bit of trailers and then moved on. They didn't talk about it in any other way. Which suggests that they don't even view it as a big deal. Not the best way to... Like, we haven't had a Metroid game since Other M, which wasn't that well received either. So they haven't been treating the Metroid series that well, to be honest, since Retro were working on it. And there's another question. What are Retro working on? They don't seem to be working on anything. No Metroid, no Donkey Kong. Yeah, doesn't seem that remarkable, that game. And there's a petition to have it cancelled. That's how people feel about it. Not good. So what else did we have? We had an Animal Crossing block where we got shock horror, a Wii U game. Oh my god, a Wii U Animal Crossing game. Oh, that's a big announcement. Yeah, not really when it's basically a cut down Mario Party. Just some sort of board game where you play with the amiibos. In fact, it reminds me of the Mario Party amiibo board bit. So that was a really weird announcement for Animal Crossing on the Wii U. The other Animal Crossing game was on the 3DS, and that's another look at the Happy Home Designer, which could be interesting, but it looks like it's going to be very, very expensive. I think each card effectively costs about €1, and there's over 100 cards, and you got to buy the main pack. And if you have a normal 3DS, you got to buy the NFC reader. Yeah, interesting. And what else did they have? They had a few more bits in the 3DS. I know they had Yokai Watch, which is massive in Japan. It's a level 5 kind of Pokemon-esque game. There was no Pokemon game, mind you, announced at all. Nothing in the Pokemon franchise. Not even Super Mystery Dungeon got a look in. Yokai Watch will probably be a big deal when it launches next year. It's been out in Japan for a couple of years now. In fact, they're working on the third game there. The spin-offs are coming out. And, you know, it's just good. It's a surprise it's taken this long to come out because they have movies coming out and manga and anime and everything. So it's a surprise that it's taken this long. But again, it's not exactly a new game. I have a feeling there's something else I'm forgetting on the 3DS, because I know the 3DS, while it wasn't particularly well represented with some big new games that we hadn't heard of before, it did okay. It got a few things like Metroid and whatnot, and Hyrule Warriors and the Zelda game that was new. What else? We had the only other new Wii U game announced was Mario Smash Tennis Ultra. The name's not right, but basically a Mario Tennis game. That was it. Again, it had a short trailer and moved straight on. Didn't talk about it at all. So basically, the two kind of new Wii games that we'd heard nothing about before got short trailers and moved straight on. They're clearly not big deals. And then we kind of, as the presentation drew to a close, we went back to, and I was hoping we wouldn't, but we went back to Mario Maker. When I say I hope we wouldn't, it makes it sound like I'm not excited for the game. And I should probably start calling it Super Mario Maker, because that's its name now. Don't get me wrong. Super Mario Maker, I think might be my game of E3. Honestly, it looks incredible fun. But we've seen a lot of it. I mean, if you watch the Nintendo World Championship, it was the highlight of that, for sure. And we've seen it in the past too. So when I was looking at the timer, I said, okay, there's about 10 minutes left of this direct, because it was relatively short compared to the presentation. It's only 50 minutes. They probably have one bigger announcement to end the show with. And when they started talking about Mario, I was like, oh no. And that basically means you don't have another game. You don't. Just Mario Maker. Oh, no, sorry, there was one other game, two other games they showed out. The reason why they slipped through my mind is because they've showed them off so much before I forgot about them. Xenoblade Chronicles X, which is already out in Japan, and it's coming out for Christmas here. So we've seen that for years. And Yoshi's Woolly World, which is out in about less than 2 weeks. So it's well finished. People have practically reviewed it. You know, it was a big deal in last year's presentation. It didn't need to be a big deal because it had a developer, you know, the production and whatnot. Again this year, it's like 2 years run. And I don't even think it. I mean, I think it's going to be a really good game, but it's not a blockbuster, or at least it's not a blockbuster that warrants 2 years with quite a bit of content. And that's why it slipped out of my mind. So yeah, they ended up with Super Mario Maker, and they spoke about it a little more, and really they kind of wanted to get into Mario being 30 and the 30th, you know, anniversary celebrations, and it's going to come with a kind of a booklet, and I mean that's nice, but really 3 minutes on that, or maybe 5 minutes tops, was enough. We didn't really need to kind of go into it in that much detail. Or if the direct was longer, it wouldn't have been so bad. But because the direct was relatively short for the, for E3, and we had seen relatively little, you're kind of going, oh, please, something new. And that's it. I just wanted something new, which we weren't really getting. I mean, let's go Mario. That's the push. Yeah, I'm really excited for the game, but not for the E3 presentation. It was poor. One of Nintendo's poorest, I gotta say. Well put together, just no content. I mean, if we look at it from the 3DS side, it's not that bad, especially when you count the mini direct that came out at the beginning of June. There was nearly more announced in there. We had Amiibo announced, we had a couple of games we hadn't heard of, Chibi Robo and Dr. Mario Miracle Cure and whatnot. They garnered better reception than bloody the Metroid Prime game did. So, you put that and you put the 3DS stuff together in one presentation, and you probably had a good 3DS Direct. In fact, you did. But it was the Wii U that really felt lacking, because it didn't have a mini direct beforehand. It had Smash Brothers some add-on content, which is good. And because now I see what they had in the main direct, I'm kind of thinking, you possibly could have put the Smash Brothers stuff into the main direct, because you didn't have much else. But what else did they have on the Wii U? It's Star Fox, teased the previous year. Xenoblade Chronicles, out already in some places, well shown before. Yoshi's Woolly World, out in a week or two, well shown before. Super Mario Maker, out in September or something, but again, well shown before. So there was 4 games, 3 of which we'd seen before, 1 teased before. But Star Fox definitely was work. So, new Wii games, we had the Animal Crossing board game thing, and we had the Mario Tennis. Wow. That's not a good E3. And to be honest, as a Wii U owner, and a person who plays it quite regularly, I'm really kind of going, is there going to be anything else coming at all? Because you don't seem like you got much. And the third party content is gone. That ship has sailed. So roll on the NX, I guess. That's the way it's going. I'm hoping if there's really nothing else coming, then please have development properly focused and have a good stream of titles for the NX. This time last year, coming up when Mario Kart released, the Wii U was actually starting to build a fair bit of momentum. You had some good games either that were out, like Mario 3D World, Mario Kart, and they had a great Nintendo Direct where they announced Yoshi's Woolly World again properly, and it's a good look at it. Tease for Star Fox, showing off the new Zelda. There was a few other. Kirby was there, Captain Toad was there, Splatoon, new IP. It was kind of like, okay, plenty of good big stuff coming out, and the smaller titles too. And then they had the Treehouse, which really kind of helped, give the details. So they got a lot of buzz, and in the last year or so we have seen a lot of good titles. We've seen Smash, we've, as I said, Mario Kart, Splatoon, Kirby, Yoshi's coming out, Xenoblade's already out and something. So it's kind of like, you've kind of dealt all those hands, but now, with this Direct, there's a big danger of losing momentum. Nintendo have been guilty of that before with the Wii. As they were transitioning over to the Wii U, they lost momentum very badly, and that's one thing that's very hard to regain. So, I don't know. I'm left kind of bewildered by it, to be honest. But definitely, I know I haven't done the Microsoft review yet, but Nintendo definitely had the worst presentation. No question about it. It was poor. So, I think I've enough saying Nintendo were poor. I think the message is clear. Hope you enjoyed the video anyway. Maybe I had more new content than Nintendo did. But anyway, we'll see you again with Microsoft sometime later in the week. Take care.